Welcome to my new show. I'm so happy to have you here. My name is Mike M. Burke. What does the M stand for? Hell if I know. Actually, when I was qualified to go on the Internet Movie Database, and my name was enlisted with all of the other celebrities, I found that there were many, many other Mike Burkes. And what happens on the Internet Movie Database is you get a Roman numeral after your name. So I was going to be known as like Mike Burke, Roman numeral 150. So I thought, how am I going to stand out from the crowd? So I decided to become Mike M. Burke. All right. This show is going to be a show about everything and anything. One episode I may talk about something funny, another episode may be more dramatic. Whatever goes, goes. It's whatever I feel that day. My whole goal here is to entertain you, make you laugh, make you cry, inspire you, motivate you, and make you hate me. And that's what we're going to do here. It is Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And I have an amazing true story to share with you today. An amazing story. And I want you to stick around and hear this story because it's going to blow your mind. It really will. And if you're someone who either believes in soulmates or doesn't believe, I think after you hear this story, you will believe. So, first up, I'm not really the biggest fan of Valentine's Day, and I was thinking back as to why. And I think it started when I was in high school. Back in high school, they used to do these, and I'm not clear on this, but I believe it was like carnation sales. And boyfriends would buy girlfriends carnations, and girlfriends would buy boyfriends candy or whatever. And you would order it in school, and then on Valentine's Day, students would deliver these carnations and candies or whatever to the students, to whoever ordered them. And it'd be done in the middle of the classroom. It's Valentine's Day. You're sitting there. Next thing you know, the door opens, and there's the little cart with all the carnations and everything. And it was really uncomfortable. It was, like, really awkward. I mean, first of all, for people like me who had nobody, it was just awful. I mean, it was like everybody knew how pathetic you were because you're the one sitting there with nothing. And all the flowers are being passed out, and they're being pushed, slammed in your desk with the cart, and the flowers are smacking you in the face, and you're just sitting there like a pathetic idiot, like, yep. Then the other part of this, which was, what about the boyfriends who forgot to buy the girlfriends a carnation? Oh, that was awful. I mean, and we all knew, because it's a classroom of like 20 to 25 kids, and we all knew, like, she's dating the quarterback, and he forgot to get her something. That's not gonna go well. She's either gonna rip off his nuts and crush them with her boots, or it's over for them. And you usually knew that, because sometimes it might be like, oh, they broke up because he didn't get her anything. Well, I didn't know they broke up. Or it's like, that's the end. You know that's the end, because the girl would get upset and storm out of the classroom because he forgot to get her something. So it was just really, really awkward. And then for me, it was a little extra awkward because at two different times, I had these two different girls who were kind of obsessed with me. I know, I'm so cute. I mean, really, look at me. No, actually, at that point in time, I thought I was a hideous Gila monster. I hated myself. I thought I was as ugly as can be. And, but there were some girls, two of them, who were a little woo-hoo, and for some reason liked me. And both of them, like I said, in two separate times, somehow had the same behavior. They would wait at the doorway for me when I was going to class, and it was awful. I would see them, and I'd want to run the other way, but I had to get to class, and I'd just be like, oh, God, no. And, of course, I'd have to walk past them, and that's when I would hear, hey, Mikey, oh, you're looking so cute today. Oh. Yeah, they laughed like horses. And I'd get into the classroom, and that was just off. I'd be all red and embarrassed. And they would see me in the hallway. How did they know I had my classes at those times? I don't know. Did they get a copy of my schedule and follow me wherever I was going? I don't know. Then it'd be me in the classroom, middle of the class, and they'd be at the door, and our classroom doors had windows, and there they'd be at the window going. And I'd just be so embarrassed, and I was thinking, maybe they're not waving to me. Maybe it's the person behind me. And I look and, oh, that's right. I'm in the last row. Nobody's behind me. So anyways, I always feared that I would get a carnation from one of them. And then I'd be like, what the hell would I do? How uncomfortable would that be? Thankfully, it never happened. So I'm not a big fan of Valentine's Day. With that being said, I have an amazing story to share with you. It was the dawn of the new millennium, 1999. 2 days, or the day actually before New Year's Eve. And at the time, I was planning on doing a new TV show. And I didn't really know what direction to go. I wanted to do a talk show. And I decided at the last minute to go to New York City. Now, I didn't want to go on New Year's Eve because it'd be just chaotic. So I decided to go the day before. And my plan was to go to New York, go to Rockefeller Center, see the tree. At that time, the tree was actually from my home state of Connecticut, and it was one of the tallest trees they ever had in celebration of the new millennium, so I thought that would be cool. At this point in time in my life, I had stopped believing in love. I didn't think it was possible for me. Things weren't working out. I mean, yeah, I was in my early 20s and really shouldn't have been thinking that way. I mean, I had all this life left to live, but that's where I was. And at that particular time, 1999, I met two different girls back to back, and I couldn't connect with them. I had no feelings whatsoever, and both of them were drop-dead gorgeous, great people. I even had some stuff in common with both of them, but I just couldn't get it to work. I couldn't communicate with them. And when I say couldn't communicate, I mean like dead air on the phone. No talking whatsoever. I don't know what happened to me, but I went dead inside. I had no feelings, and I couldn't communicate. I felt awful, and I really was in a bad place, and I thought, maybe I can't love anymore. Maybe it's over for me. Maybe I just can't. I can't feel anymore. I've lost all feeling in me. And so I had given up on it and decided to just bury myself in my movie work, write my screenplays. I was filming movies back to back to back to back to back, constantly. Anyways, another thought I had at the time was my thoughts about soulmates. I had always believed in soulmates, always. And the reason why is because, and this is going to sound strange, but it's absolutely true, when I was about 5 to 6 years old, I started feeling something weird. And I've never told anybody about this. I've never spoken to anybody about this. And never told anybody back then because I was 6 and I didn't understand it. But I started to feel like that there was a girl out there who was a part of me. Like she was a part of me. And I could always feel her, and I didn't understand what love was. So I don't even know what I thought at the time, but I just knew I was supposed to have her in my life. And I would stare out the window at night and look over the horizon, and I would just imagine a castle, and she was the princess and I was the prince, and that I would find her someday. And I would look over that horizon and imagine that castle, and I was like, she's there. She's over that horizon. That's where she is. It's really strange for a little kid to think that way, but that's how it was. I always felt her out there, always. And I don't really know if I've met her. I may have. I may have known her before. I may not have known her. I may have not met her yet. Either way, I'm not with her right now, but I still feel her. And I really do hope I find her. So I've always believed in it. But at that point in time, I was questioning that. And this is when I started to develop these thoughts of what I believe in. And I still believe this actually, that not everybody ends up with their soulmate. That God sometimes creates someone for us, and we're made for them, and they're made for us, and it is a love that is so intense, so strong, because it's deeper than just being in love. It is far deeper. It is a connection that most people don't ever get to feel and have in their life. And when these two people come together, others see it. Others are inspired by it because that love is so strong. It truly is remarkable. And it absolutely exists. But sadly, it's rare. And a lot of us don't end up that way. So anyways, with that all being said, here it is. The dawn of the new millennium, and I'm in New York City. It's late at night. It's freezing. The temperatures were like at 0. And I have my video camera, I have my microphone, and I'm interviewing people. And it's going really well. People were having a good time, a lot of laughs, a lot of fun. I thought this is a great way to do the first episode of my new show. And then I meet this couple. And they blew my mind. But here's the thing. I would show you that video, but when I got home, it turned out our microphone failed. And to make matters worse, we forgot headphones, so we couldn't monitor the sound while we were filming. I decided at that point, you know what, maybe I should just stick to the movies for now. Maybe this isn't my time to have a new show. Thankfully, I have this. My memory. I interview this couple and I say, hey, so what are you guys doing in New York? Are you from the area? Are you visiting? And that's when they said, well, actually, we're here for something special. And actually, we should share the story with you because I think this is going to be great for your video. You're going to be surprised by this. So I was like, okay. We actually knew each other about 40 years ago. We were in love, deeply in love. We enjoyed every minute that we spent with each other. Life was just great. We were happy and life was adventurous and it was just perfect. And we knew that we wanted to be with each other forever. And we had felt like we had known each other forever. We were comfortable with each other. But unfortunately, life happens, and we had to go our separate ways. Now, I'm vague on exactly what that was. I believe they had to go off to college. So one had to move to one side of the country, and one moved to the other side of the country. But that was it for them. Their love ended. He went off to college and met someone and got married and had kids. She went off to college, she met someone, got married, and had kids of her own. And separately, they both had these different family lives. Both married, having kids. They get older, their kids go off to college, and then something kind of unusual happens. He loses his wife to death. At the same time, she loses her husband to death. Now, they're both alone. And for some reason, they both felt compelled to go to New York City at the same exact time. Some would say that maybe it was just a coincidence. Some would say maybe it was by chance. Some would say perhaps God had prompted them to do that. But there they are. Two people who loved each other deeply and had to separate because of unfortunate circumstances in life are now in New York City at the same exact time. Not only that, in a city of over 1 million people, these two somehow find each other. They run into each other on the streets of New York. They said it was as if time had never passed. They instantly reconnected. Instantly, like there was no space of 40 years. Instantly knew they still loved each other. It wasn't a matter of them falling in love with each other again. It was a matter of, I love you today as much as I did back then, even though we haven't seen each other for all these years. They felt comfortable with each other, and I think he said that they started dating right away. Their kids met each other, the kids all got along, the families got along, and everybody was doing great. It was great. So when I interviewed them, they were in New York City to be there for the new millennium and for their upcoming wedding. I was speechless after that. It was quite a story to hear. You know, like I said, I always believed in soulmates, but never saw any proof of it. And then these two tell me that story, and I was just speechless. I was like, wow, that's an incredible story. And they were happy. I can tell you right now, they were happy. They had smiles on their face the whole time. They looked like they were a part of each other. It really was amazing. And I could feel the connection between those two and the warmth between those two. It was amazing. Even more amazing was the person who was shooting this for me on camera. A person who doesn't believe in love at all. A person who, when anybody talks about love, pretty much throws up. Love? He was speechless. He just stood there. And he was like... It was amazing. So, for any of you who are lost right now, who don't believe that you can meet your own soulmate, who don't believe in any of this stuff. On this day of Valentine's Day, perhaps this story has changed your mind. It is amazing, and it's true. Here is the image of these two people. Thank you for watching, and happy Valentine's Day.